The Season 5 update is finally here, giving us access to the new island, some new playlists, new vehicles, massive quality of life changes, all sorts of stuff. This is the biggest update Ivory Tower has ever put out, so there's definitely a lot to talk about. But I want to talk about one thing in specific. The changes they made to the Grand Races, which are one of the things I've been most excited for. One of the big complaints of the Grand Race is that it can get stale fast, especially since there's not really that many routes in the first place, and most of the routes reuse the same paths from each other anyways. Another big complaint is the rammers, especially at the start of the race, where having someone slam you into a wall or off the road can screw you over for the rest of the race. And seeing as the Grand Race became way more popular than Ivory Tower had predicted, they decided to try and tackle these problems in the Season 5 update. First off, they added new routes for Maui, and I think Maui is actually way better designed than Oahu. Even though it's not as big, it just feels like it flows better when you drive on it compared to the other island. I can't pinpoint one specific reason, but I think it's multiple things that make up for it being a better designed island. A big reason is that the roads in Maui are banked way more than in Oahu, giving you more grip, which makes them easier and faster to corner on. This also kind of resulted in an indirect nerf on guttering. Because the roads are so banked and you have so much grip, guttering might actually be worse on some corners. This alone makes Maui play way differently from Oahu, where you'd see gutters in just about every hairpin. The streets also feel a lot wider, which means that you have more space to navigate around, and it also seems like there's a lot less trees around as well. Obviously we have stuff like the bamboo forest, there's still trees in the game, but I mean just in general. There's a lot more areas where you have a lot of free space to roam, which is especially good for rally and rally raid. I also feel like they use more barriers, especially in the city, where there's some sections where it feels like you should just be able to fly through, but the barriers are there to make it more of a slalom, like in this footage. And then there's the highway connecting the islands, which also makes for a really intense experience as well, especially in hypercars. Overall, I had a lot of fun driving around Maui. I'm still gonna have to explore the island myself, but in terms of Grand Races, the routes I did play were pretty good. But they didn't just add new routes. They also made the Grand Races more dynamic by adding Grand Race modifiers. Every few Grand Racing routes will now have a modifier. So far, the only one now is no collisions, which yes, by the way, we have ghosted Grand Races now, but they're open to add more in the future. We'll probably see stuff like infinite NOS, which is going to be hell, and hopefully they add car restrictions as well, such as adding Japanese cars only, European cars only, all that stuff. That would also help spice up the meta a bit so that you wouldn't see the same few cars come up top. I also heard that it takes kinda long to get a clean driving race because of the way the system works. I do wish there was a separate queue for clean driving, but then again, I think the reason why they designed it like this is so that the lobbies could fill up fast. I'm not a game designer though, so don't quote me on that. Overall, this is a really good update, and I'm excited to see how the Grand Races evolve in the future. Here's some gameplay of races on the new island, with the first few having the clean driving modifier, and there also being a lot of fails and intense moments as well. Enjoy!